Welcome back, Triple D Divas. Today's video is going to be how to apply fake tips, long tips, so that you can extend your nails. So my nails they're not that short, but they're not long either. Like, they're coming up, extending past my nail, but I want them to match the length that I have here on this hand, which is a lot longer, and I'm using tips on this hand too. And we're gonna go through the process on how to apply these tips. So Triple D has started carrying nail tips in a variety of sizes. These are very long stiletto tips, and they're very flexible and they go out straight, but we're gonna show that in a second. But don't worry, if you don't know your size, Triple D is going to sell a sample pack where you're going to get one of each size in the sample pack, and then you can fit them to your nail, so when you go order an entire bag of one size, you know exactly what size you are. So I think that's awesome that she's offering that. The thing is, they come in these bags, so if you don't like bags, I highly recommend that you get a nail tip case off of AliExpress, Amazon, wherever the case may be. I got this case on AliExpress. It was probably a couple dollars, and I really like that it already comes labeled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill my case with these tips, and then we are going to start measuring. Alright, here is what the container looks like completely closed. It snaps closed, and it has all the sizes corresponding by their size. Also, one other amazing thing, if you don't have a container like this or labels on them, the tips themselves come with numbers on them. So you don't have to guess what number size you picked up. So that is size 0. And then you'll see we're gonna pick up a couple other ones, a couple different sizes, to show you what the sizes look like. That is a size 1. It says it right there on the tip. I'm sorry how blurry it is. That's a size 1. This is a size 2. So you can see the numbers right there. Very faint, but it's there. You can see them better in person. And like, here is a very, very tiny tip, and it is a size 9 right there. Okay, so to get started on the things you're gonna need, obviously you're gonna need your tip box. You're also gonna need some sort of glue. If you don't have nail glue, you can absolutely use your dip powder base or top coat or something. This is essentially a type of nail glue. It's just pretty slow drying. So go ahead and feel free to use your dip powder top or base as your glue. You're also going to need some nail cutters of some sort. I've had these for a couple years. I don't remember where I got them from, but I know Amazon sells them for only a couple bucks. But if you don't have nail cutters, you can use some small nail scissors if you need, or household scissors. Just be careful not to cut yourself. All right, so to get started on how to fit your nails, when you are trying to put on a set of fake nails, the best thing I would recommend is measure all of your nails first and lay them out before you start gluing them on, because it gets pretty difficult to start picking things up with these really long nails. So I'm going to start with a size 0 and fit that to my thumb, which is my biggest, well, my middle finger and my thumb are my biggest nails. And what you're looking for when you're trying to fit a nail is that the tip right here is fitting from sidewall to sidewall. It's not hanging over too much, and it's not too small. For example, I'm going to try to put a very small one here. Obviously, I would not wear this tip. I obviously would not wear this tip on my nails today. Like, it's too small. For example, on a smaller nail, this would be fine if I put it this far back. So the size 0 will not work for me. So I'll go down a couple sizes to size 2 and see if it fits my thumb. So I'm putting it over the free edge, just slightly past the free edge. And this one is just about the right size for me. It's a little bit too big, but it's okay because I can file it down. So when you're fitting tips, you don't want to have to force the tip onto your nail by like pushing it down too much for it to stay there. You want it to be able to fit from sidewall to sidewall without any force. If you're in between sizes like I am right now, where that number 3 was too small and this number 2 is just a tad too large for my thumbnail, it's always best to go a size up than to go too small. You can file away, but you can't add. So you want to go a size up and then glue that on instead. So I'm going to size the rest of my nails and then we can get started. Now I know these nail tip sizes can be intimidating, like look how pointy those things are. Well, don't worry, that's why we're going to use these clippers to cut them down into the right shape and size. That way we don't have to stab somebody in the eye. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move these to the side, and I'm going to start with all my, like going from smallest to largest. I don't want to put my thumb on yet because I use my thumb a lot in this process, so you don't want your thumb to be crippled by a pointy nail. So the first one I want to do is my pinky, and you can tell here it fits from sidewall to sidewall without any overhang, so that's good. So I'm going to take my base bond brush and apply a little bit of glue to the underside of the nail. And then I'm going to place it on top of my nail and then press and hold for about 10 seconds. So this is what I have so far. One crazy finger, that is for sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue the next one, which is my ring finger. Again, just like I did this last one, I'm gonna take some glue and put it on the underside and then glue it to my nail. You want to make sure you get all the air bubbles out. You do not want any air bubbles in your glue. So if you have to, you can rock the nail back and forth, the tip back and forth until all the air bubbles come out. But you basically want all the glue to spread across your nail tip area, like the free edge or where you're gluing the nail tip onto. So if you can tell, these are actually really straight nails. They do not have a crazy insane curve. They extend pretty straight out, which is what I personally like. Some people like an insane curve, I do not. So it's just all personal choice. And then one awesome thing about these is these are very, very thin. So there's not very any bulk right there. So when it comes time for me to start putting dip powder on my nails, I actually do not have to blend the seam of the nail to my nail bed because it's almost seamless. So again, taking my glue, putting it on the underside of the nail, and then I'm going to adhere it to my middle finger, and then rocking any air bubbles out, there you go, and then hold it for about 10 seconds. All right, we are working with some crazy fingers right now, don't you think? So now I'm going to move on to my index finger, and then my thumb is last. See how I've been using the brush, and I've been using my thumb and my index finger to apply the base bond like I hold the brush in my hand? That is exactly why I did not want to use and glue on my thumb first. So rock it back and forth so there's no air bubbles, and then press and hold for about 10 seconds. All right. These are crazy close. Crazy. Okay, and then lastly, I'm going to move on to my thumb. And because I have the control now with my thumb to apply the glue on, this is why you save the thumb for last. Apply plenty of glue because my thumb takes up more like real estate. Obviously, it's a larger nail. So I want to make sure I have enough glue to glue it on, rock it back and forth. And when I say rock it back and forth, you can't see what I'm doing. It's like not really obvious on camera, but what I'm doing is I'm pushing it forward and then down, up and then down, so I get all the air bubbles out. So, and then let those completely dry. Sometimes the nail glue is not completely dry after 10 seconds, so it's very easy for these to come up. So I recommend that you let them set for about a minute before you start clipping the tips down. Now the next part of this process is cutting these down because I do not want to poke an eye out with these. So I have these nail tape cutters and I'm going to insert the tip through the opening and then just squeeze the handle of the cutters to clip off what excess I don't want. And just like that, it is super easy to clip them off with these cutters. If you don't have these cutters, you can definitely use scissors or nail scissors and then cut it just straight across. I personally do not like this because it leaves a little indentation. It is not a perfect clean cut like the pink clippers that I have. So I'm going to go back to the clippers and show you. And just a piece of advice, it is better to clip off less than too much. So if you're not sure about the length that you want, I recommend just clipping off just a little bit and work your way down to shorter and shorter because you can remove length, but you can't add length. Now you can choose to stop here, or you can choose to file and trim the nails inwards and make them shorter so they're all equal lengths. I personally like mine to have a little slight taper from the free edge down to the end of the tip. So I'm going to file all my nails inwards, but to help that out, I'm taking nail clippers and I'm clipping off just a little bit the length to make them taper inwards so that I don't have to do so much work when I'm filing. And then I'm going to file them and show you guys the finished result. So here's what they look like all done. All you have to do after this is go on with your dipping routine, or if you're using gel polish, put a gel base down and go on with your gel polish routine. Totally up to you. And thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you in the next one.